Rebuilding the mag side, after you have this crankcase seal in, what you'll want to do, double check these 72 to 96 inch-pounds. Make sure those are torqued down to spec before you go any further. Basically what we're going to do, put this on, flat side to the outside. We'll slide this gear on, take your washer, that will be next. This will end up being next. And you'll want to remember this goes for that gear on your crankshaft. Back there, that woodruff key. We'll get that far and then we'll take it from there and we'll do the next step. First thing we'll want to do is slip this collar on, flat side to the outside. Now it'll be tight going on there. What you can use is an old bearing and then tap on the bearing to seat that collar into place. So I gave it a few taps just on the bearing. You can see we got it that far. I want to go all the way until it's fully up to the bearing inside. There we have it. If the collar's not fully seated, by the time you throw everything together and tighten it down, the slotted nut, it'll seat into place. Next, you want to install your woodruff key. Make sure it's fully centered and then pushed into place. It's in place. Then you want to install this gear onto the crankshaft so it aligns itself with the woodruff key. And then what you'll want to do is turn it until this mark here aligns with this mark here on your counterbalance gear. So there you'll see the gears are actually aligned. This one here with that one there. When I push it together, you'll see what I mean. There, they're pushed together, and that timing is correct. After that step is done, you can slide your bearing on, which goes to your inner stator cover. You may need to heat it up to get that on, but it slid on just fine. The washer will go on next. Rubber O-ring. Then rebuilt water pump housing, the bearing and new seals. You want to stick that on here. You're going to throw on your impeller, regular washer, lock washer, and the nut. For this 400L 2-stroke, the impeller nut torque spec is 62 to 78 inch-pounds. Then to torque this down, stick a rod top of your crank, put your torque wrench on, and torque it to spec. Now we can install the gaskets. First gasket can just sit on there like that. And then before putting the water pump one on, what you'll want to do is use gasket maker on both sides. I just have some Permatex Ultra Black. You want to put that on, you'll want to put your gasket on, and then put another layer on. So there we have our first thin layer. Place the gasket on, then put another layer over that. There you have your final layer. Your gasket in between. Now you're ready to install the cover. Your cover, you'll want to just place it on. Make sure your water pump holes, bolt holes line up. So there, I was able to get it fully on. I just held it like this, tapped around the outside. So now you'll want to snug up and install bolts, 2 6mm bolts. Put on your nuts for your water pump. This oddball goes here. The other ones go around. Snug those up. The torque spec for these 8mm bolts, 18 foot-pounds. Water pump bolts, 2 6mm bolts. We can go 72 inch-pounds. So after that's torqued down, you have your washer, your O-ring in there. You want to take your seal, again, grease the inside, seal around the outside, install that. Once that's fully installed, take your collar, flat side to the outside, and then we'll put this slotted nut. Slotted nut gets torqued down to 29 to 44 foot-pounds. Grease on the inside, case sealer on the outside. Slip it over the crankshaft. You want to push that into place. Now you'll want to seat that all the way down because the stator assembly actually, has a collar on it that actually goes back a little further. So you want to make sure that this is back, that distance, or just make sure it's back against the bearing, and you should be good to go. And again, you're going to want to throw this collar in, flat side out, throw the nut on, torque it down. Bearing is fully seated. Got the collar in, the nut on, torque wrench with a slotted nut that I had made out of Schedule 80 pipe, and stick it on there, tighten her down. You want to put a rod on the connecting rod against these studs. That'll hold the crankshaft from moving. Torque her to spec and install the stator and the rewind.